Now, what shall I start building this week? There's Claptrap from Borderlands 3. Okay, let's start scratching that build. Hi and welcome back to the channel. So to make things easy, I just used some scrap bits of XPS foam and I'm just going to glue them all together and oops, I missed a bit off the board there. I'm just going to sandwich these XPS boards together to give this basic shape of Claptrap. So once the glue is dry and all the sheets are stuck firmly together, I then get a pen and just do a basic drawing of the shape that I want Claptrap to be. So if you're a subscriber to the channel, you'll realise by now I don't really do screen accuracy. I just basically cut it out and build what I think looks like the finished article. So after trimming the sides, it doesn't matter that it's all jagged because I'm going to be covering it all in cardboard or cardstock, and the type of cardboard I'm using is simply the outer box of a 10-pack of Coca-Cola cans. Why do you ask? I'm using cardboard to cover the XPS foam? Simply because I want to put some Mod Podge on it, get it rock hard, so then once I start spraying and priming this, the XPS foam won't melt, so that's why I'm using the cardboard. So I had to leave the Mod Podge to dry, took a couple of hours, and then it was time to tackle all the little gaps. I left that noise in for all you latex fetish people out there. You're welcome. So I'm just using some liquid filler that you would use for model planes, model boats, that sort of stuff. And then once that's dried, I just get a sander and just sand everything down. Then I took a deep dive into a couple of my bits boxes, looking for a wheel that was the right size. This lot that's in these plastic bags is from that technical Lego that I got months ago that isn't Lego but is pretending to be Lego. Once I got the wheel done, I cut out the bit in the middle and cut it all down and placed a metal washer to stick that in the bit in the middle, just like it is in the pictures that I've seen of Claptrap. And then the little ball bearing that went onto the washer was something that I'd found in one of the spray bottles. So then I just started adding little details of bits of cardboard just along his body, and then for the top it was looking too flat. So I grabbed some, I think it was 4 5mm foam board, just beveled the edges and then stuck it on top. And then the wheel, I used plastic straws, which are becoming scarcer by the day, to stick that down. Then it was back to the cardstock, where I just put little bits on for the shoulders and the to cover the straws of the legs. and then using some beads, I just centered a bead either side, so then I could use that as the guide for when I put the arms on. This black thing was something random that was just rattling around in one of my boxes. I think it came from some sort of army figure that I must have cut up and used later on. And then it was on to the painted, so I used some masking tape just to cover the areas I didn't want painting. I used liquid masking for the eye just to cover that up so it was easier to paint later on. Not quite sure what sort of shot I was going for here, but it's trying to be dramatic. Threw in a smidgen of yellow ochre, if memory serves me right, and sprayed all over it, and then realised halfway through the first spray I'd done the colour wrong, so went back over that once the paint had dried with a brown. Now this stuff is drawing glue, never heard of it before, but I'd seen it on an Instagrammer's post. I cannot find that post since, so I can't give credit where credit's due. If you're watching, drop a comment and just to let everybody know it was your idea. But basically this drawing glue is a lot like the liquid masking stuff, just a lot thinner. So once that had dried, I then sprayed over the yellow ochre. I didn't want it to look too pristine, so it was a rough and ready paint job, but it looked okay in the end. And then went over it in another bright yellow, but this time sort of like leaving patches and gaps. Then I waited patiently until all the paint had dried, then remasked it all and then sprayed the white on for Claptrap's white stripe on his body. Now this is where the magic happens. This is where you get a really cheap, horrible brush and start scraping at all the places you think you might have placed the drawing glue. And lo and behold, if you keep persevering enough, chips will appear. So I did that for a full 30 minutes all the way around the body, just chipping away at it until it got to a stage where it looked okay. Then I just decided to soften up the white band and repainted some yellow just to break it all up and blend it in nicely. And then after the yellow dried, I just went over that again with some of the brown just to bring back some of the rusty, scratchy look. Then once I was happy with all that, it was just quite simply just time to paint the eye, which was just a normal red, and then pull the liquid masking off and paint the actual eyeball. And then for the base, I had a spare D&D base which I just covered in tacky glue. Lots and lots of tacky glue. Then use these coloured stones, which I would guess you would use for the bottom of a goldfish bowl. These were like 50 cents from some corner shop, so I thought, hey, I'll try it. And while the base dried, it was time to make Claptrap a little bit more dirty, so it was just quickly spraying over some black paint just to rough him up and make him look less pristine. And then after that had dried, I just plopped on his arms and stuck him on the base, and that's how I made Claptrap. So thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe, help the channel grow. Next week should be a Star Wars build. So until then, keep scratching that build, everybody.